This is Amplifyou, the podcast about you discovering your message and broadcasting it to the world. If you're a coach, author, or speaker, you'll want to tune in. If you're looking for the best return on your time investment to get your message out to the world in a bigger way, we're giving you full access and behind the scenes look of how we're running our podcast, how our clients have found success, and what you can do to launch your podcast today. The world needs your message. I'm Michelle Abraham, the host. Join my family as we unleash your unique genius and find the connections you need to launch your adventure today. Join us and let's get amplified.
Awesome. You guys, I'm really excited about our inspiration panel that we're coming up right now because these three ladies, we've helped launch their podcasts at Amplifyou, and they've all had some great success with their shows. And I just wanted to bring them on and share with you guys some of their stories, some of the things that they've loved about being here. So I'm going to bring them all in here. We got Jenny Ryce here. We've got Blair coming up here. And we've got Diane. So hello, ladies.
Hi.
Hi, how are you? Hi. Nice to see you guys all today. Awesome. Yeah. All right, ladies. Well, what we're going to do on this panel is we're going to allow you guys to go ahead and just introduce yourselves, who you are, what you're up to, what your podcast is all about. And guys, listen up to these ladies. They've been podcasting for a little while now, and many of them are over 100 episodes already, kicking ass, doing great things, and connecting it all back to their businesses too. So if you've been thinking about starting a podcast, it's been on your mind, pay attention to these ladies because they're doing all the things right. All right, Blair, we'll kick it off with you. You want to start us off?
Yes. Hi, I am Blair Kaplan Venables. I'm a social media expert and mentor and the founder of the Global Resilience Project. I have two podcasts. One, I'm a co-host to Dissecting Success, and that has been on for just over a year and a half, or about a year and a half. And Radical Resilience is my solo podcast.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Blair. Blair's two podcasts, right? Is it easy to manage two podcasts, or is it a little bit crazy?
I wouldn't be able to do it without your team.
Well,
I often get the, hey, did you upload the notes? And I'm coming to you, I live in Kamloops, British Columbia, Canada, and I'm on a media tour right now for one of my books that I published. So I'm on the floor of a hotel in LA.
Awesome. I love it. Diane, over to you. Want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hello, everyone. I'm Diane Rolston. I specialize in coaching female business leaders. I've had my business for over a decade as a coach, speaker, author, and the CEO of the Dynamic Women Global Club. And so it just was fitting that I would have the Dynamic Women podcast. And we've just celebrated our 3-year anniversary. It's an action-packed lifestyle and leadership podcast. So it's full of stories, strategies, so that women can design the life that they want in the success and unleash their dynamic woman. So this is a show for business leaders, business owners, professionals, maybe women who are like the boss of the home and their kids, or they just want to jump into that next chapter. I alternate between solo episodes, guest interviews, and since I'm a coach, I often focus on helping my listeners get that clarity, building confidence, getting into action on some of their biggest goals and dreams. And then I have really great experts that come on and share their knowledge with my listeners. So finally, we have actually 5 awards now. So we're quite honored to have been given these different awards for the podcast in just 3 years.
Yes, awesome. And Diane most recently was number 3 of the top 50 moms in podcasting with Podcast Magazine. So yeah, awesome. Congratulations on those awards. I just got to spend the last 5 days with her in Vegas at James Belichick's Mastermind, which is why James is not here today, because we tuckered him out. It was 5 days of a lot of learning and a lot of talking for him, I'm sure. Awesome. And Jenny, last but not least, come on in and say hi.
Hi, everyone. Michelle, thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity to share about my passion around podcasting. We have so many facets in our businesses that podcasting has turned into one of my passion projects, shall we say. The name of our podcast is Winning with Wellness, and I personally am a mindset strategist and the president of Your Holistic Earth. And our podcast really emulates everything that encompasses those two areas of business. So we look for and support people that are in a place of seeking wellness or revitalizing their wellness journey or looking for new ways to be proactive in their health and wellness and overall fitness. So I've been podcasting for just shy of a year. I think in a couple weeks, it'll be a year. And it truly has been an incredible journey. And I look forward to, if there's time throughout this conversation, to share a little bit about my experience and some tips and tricks I might have around being a podcast host if you guys haven't stepped in, because it's a game changer.
Absolutely. Yes, totally a game changer. Thanks for sharing all about you guys, ladies. I would love to circle back and let's just maybe share, for those people in the audience, how many of you guys in the audience are thinking about starting a podcast? Say me in the chat if you're thinking about starting a podcast but haven't actually gone yet. And you guys, you'll hear a little bit more about my story later, but it took me 4 years to launch my podcast. So I understand if some of those things that are creeping into your minds around fear, I totally get it, because I can't help people. I can only help people now because I went through that too. So I'd love to hear from these ladies a little bit. They have some tips for you guys if you're thinking about starting a podcast, and also a little bit about how starting a podcast has maybe changed their business or their lives or impacted it in some way. So Diane, we'll start with you.
Sure. Well, it's funny because Michelle and I have known each other for many years. And so I had the expert right beside me most of my life. I'm going to start with my tip and then tell you how it's changed my life in business. So the tip is 2 words: don't wait. Don't wait. I waited for a year and it would have fitted so nicely into my business to help me reach my other goals. But I didn't see it at the time. I was hesitant. I thought it maybe would take a lot of work. But it didn't, because Michelle just walked me through the process. But here are the benefits that I've found. It's one place to have my consistent voice that's very respected, right? It's not just I have Instagram videos or something. It's like a place where people can come and find me all the time. I also meet people and they think highly of me when I have a podcast. I'm like, I have a podcast. They're like, wow, that's really cool. You get to have an intimate relationship with people one-on-one, talking to them, where many times on video and other platforms, you're speaking to the masses. So it's a little bit of a different vibe. I also leverage it for connections. So I get to reach out to people and invite them on the podcast. And it's kind of that door, that opening that I have. It's also easy to get onto other people's platforms by show swapping, because you have something to offer. You can be generous in giving and serving. Also, being a podcaster, just like when I became a published author or a speaker, you get to kind of join this special club of people with podcasts. And so it's really great for networking. I've met some incredible people. I actually had Blair on my summit. So I get to have really amazing people to connect with. It's also how I create my content for the week. I'm more of a speaker, and so I love to speak my podcast. It's also on video, and then I use it with my right across the board. It's all repurposed. And so knowing that I only have to do it once actually makes it a lot easier. I'm not doing a whole bunch of things in my business. I just do it once and use it many times. So don't wait. That's my tip.
I love it. Yeah, I wish I'd started my podcast a lot earlier too. All right, Blair, let's head on over to you. Let's hear how podcasting has maybe had an impact in your business or your life.
Okay, so I literally came into the world blaring, and I have the gift of the gab. And I actually almost went to school to become a broadcast journalist because I've always had this dream to be on radio, but my mother convinced me to not. And I always regretted it. And so I've always wanted to podcast, and my job as a communications expert was to put people in the spotlight. And I realized I had this wealth of information and knowledge, and I really teach the social media empowerment pillars for thought leadership. If you want to be in a place of authority in your industry, you want the media to come to you, the clients to come to you, the money to come to you, you have to be a thought leader and you have to be an established voice. And what better way to do that than a podcast? So Dissecting Success, me and my friend Teresa, my co-host, we started it because we were having just brilliant conversations about success. It was a passion project, obviously as a way to be more credible. But what I learned along the way was that business started coming to me. Other people who wanted to be guests of like higher clout and authority than what I could even imagine were coming to me. And people were coming to us asking, hey, do you do group coaching? Do you do coaching? We want to learn from you. So we created a program called Momentum, which is a high level group coaching program. And then basically I made money from it, and I was just doing it because I like talking. And I thought, hey, people probably want to listen to what we're talking about. And then Radical Resilience, the Global Resilience Project is a place where people can share their stories and read stories of overcoming life's greatest challenges. It's a safe space for people to do that. And having a podcast, to me, was a natural step. I thought of this idea at the beginning of the pandemic, but life happened to me, and I just had to be careful of my capacity, because I want people to share stories of overcoming challenges, and not everyone likes to write their story, which is the original medium for the project, is that people are comfortable talking. So I wanted to create a space where people could come and share their stories. And because I do this, I'm starting to get invited into more spaces to have conversations about resilience. And it's growing my authority in the space. And I've become a professional thought leader in resilience. So it's just helping me get more visibility. It's helping the people who come on my podcasts get more visibility, and helping them become a thought leader. We can't hear you.
I need Kimberly's little sign. Put that mute button on. Yeah, Blair, you've had so much publicity with your podcast in the last couple of years. So it's been really cool to see your success with that. And like Diane also said too, like, have you ever heard the word no thanks when you ask, would you like to be on my podcast? It doesn't happen very often, if ever. I don't think any of us have even heard that no, right? So having a platform is such a great way to be able to offer you, to be able to offer someone a platform to speak on. Jenny, let's hear it from you.
Well, I think I'm going to just really echo what's already been shared and just put my own personal experience and spin on it. If you guys haven't caught on yet, having a podcast is essential when it comes to all thing expansion in your business. So if I was going to share some advice about stepping in, because there is the glory side of podcasting, but also too, there's reality attached to it. Consistency is king. You want to make sure that you put time in your schedule. It takes a little more time, especially up front, till you get a routine and get used to how you schedule it in. Get your guests. Once you have that all in flow, I highly recommend that you get a team. Obviously, we work with Amplifyou and they have our back in all of this. But just remember, you don't have to do it alone. Blair was just saying she co-hosts a podcast. So maybe you share, maybe you don't co-host, maybe you do 50% of the recordings throughout the year and your partner does 50%. Get creative and get excited. So the one thing, again, I just really want to echo and anchor in that podcasting opens doors for you that would never been opened before. It gives a platform for people to share in a different way than is normally shared. It, for me, has provided me incredible opportunity to connect with people I've never met. And I love exactly that. You heard that from the speaker before, and these amazing podcast hosts have shared. You get people promoting your podcast because they had such a great interview with you. They send it out to people you would never touched before. So your impact, not only on your cause or purpose of why you're doing your podcast, has incredible reach, but you will expand your reach as an individual. One thing I want you not to lose sight of, which can happen when you start surrounding yourself around podcast people, is that this is our normal. So it seems like no big deal after a while to be on a podcast. Don't lose sight of the importance and the impact that is there, because the average person is not on a podcast or owns a podcast. So I really encourage you to keep that at light. And just to touch on, it takes approximately 7 touch points to create and build trust with a relationship. When someone's either been on your podcast or listened to your podcast, you have been intimately connected with that individual. And that breaks down those barriers and opens up that touch point, raceway so much quicker. So that would be what I would share. You guys, if not now, when? Step in. You can always decide to change your mind and not do it if it doesn't resonate with you, but trust me, you will fall in love. Michelle knows I fell into podcasting, literally. So
I had no plan getting up to podcast.
And I'm literally in my pajamas going, yeah, let's do it. So you never know where it's going to lead you. Absolutely.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, that is so fantastic, you guys. And also, all three of these ladies, we can give them a huge high fives in the chat, guys, because all of them have podcasts that are in the top 5% of all podcasts out there. So that means out of 2.8 million podcasts, every single one of them their shows are in the top 5% or higher. So Jason's here in the chat. So if you guys want to reach out and have a call with him, you're going to get entered into, anyone who books a call with Jason today is going to get entered into a draw. What we're going to do at the end of the day for our grand prize, there's a microphone involved. There's tons of great stuff involved. I'm going to share more about it in a little while. But first, I want to go back to these ladies and give them one last chance to give you guys one last sentence of inspiration. So Jenny, let's start with you while we have you here.
I would love to share with you my favorite quote from Napoleon Hill. A goal is a dream with a deadline. I'm just going to let that land. A goal is a dream with a deadline. You interpret that how you need. I hope it inspires you into action. Thanks so much, Michelle, and everyone for having me.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jenny. All right, Blair, over to you.
If you want to be a thought leader in your space, like the authority, the recognized expert, you're not going to do that if you don't have a podcast. That's not going to happen. So you have to have a podcast in order to be seen as that expert.
Awesome. Thanks, Blair. That's a great one. And Diane, go ahead and finish us off.
Yeah, if you've been hearing these ladies and everyone else today tell you how great podcasting is, and you hear this myth that it's too late to start and there's already lots of competition, there's lots of people in my industry, in my space, 4 words: no one is you. No one is you. No one has your experience, your skills, your talents, your viewpoint, your appearance, your style. So it's time to share your voice because your people are looking for you.
Absolutely. And our tagline at Amplifyou is your uniqueness is your genius. And nice. That really amplifies what Diane is just saying. There is no one else there that can pull it off with you. There might be a million podcasts about parenting out there, but no one's got your spin on it. And your people are out there waiting for you. So guys, take a chance and get started. Also, if you book a call with Jason today too, what you're going to do is get to come to our Applying Your Podcast workshop, which traditionally we sell from this Podapalooza. And so today you're going to get it for free if you book a call with Jason and have a chat with him about starting your podcast. Ladies, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure and a blessing to work with you all. You are superstars. And I want to thank you so much for being with us here at Podapalooza.